Good morning, traders. It is Sunday, and you know what that means. It is Sunday setup time with me, Clayton Allen, the host of the Day Trading Plumber podcast and founder here at Allen FX. So, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. You're not going to want to miss these videos every Sunday, and I also do my midweek review where we kind of check in midweek to see if our predictions or if prices is moving the way we expect it to on the charts today. Now, I do want to be completely clear on we don't just take trades in our bullish and bearish zones. We are simply putting in inflection zones on a much bigger time frame, the daily. So when we're trading this week down in those smaller time frames, we kind of have that reference point. So let's jump on the charts so we can get started. All right. Thought I had this loaded up, but apparently I hit the X button and closed her down. All right. So if you guys are new to this channel, as always, I use TradingView charts to do my charting. I love them. I personally feel like they're the best ones out there. It is a free service. However, if you want to use some of the cool perks that they use, like replay on intraday charts, all those fun things. Let's get our. Did I close those? Okay. I didn't want to close them, but whatever. Okay, let's go to the daily, so you can see. All right, so looks like we're above the 200 EMA, so that would tell us bullish trend, and it's obviously a bullish trend, okay? And we're starting to bound in between these zones here, okay? So we have a pretty good bearish zone. If we go to the body, the thick of that, from the body to that, we turned around right as we hit the front side of it. So I think we could probably shrink that down a little bit now. But now, guys, we want to see what's going to happen when we get there. Okay. We very well could bounce again, and this could be a really good area to take a buy trade back to that top. We would need smaller time frame confirmation, and then if we break through that 200 EMA is a really good target. It'll probably be more like right here when it gets there. So that's what I'm looking for on these time frames. So then if I'm down trading from the 1 hour, okay, if I'm trading from the 1 hour, we've already broke the 200 period moving average. So I think we're coming down to here, which isn't a bad trade. We're ending a pullback. We broke that pullback. And, oh, man. Doing this too early. Sorry, guys. Got my kids with me and trying to get this done before they wake up. All right. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. So let's get rolling here. All right. This one, we're not in any of those zones, so I'm not going to turn them red unless we are in one of those zones. Australian dollar, Swiss franc, kind of the same thing, right? We could see strong support. We've turned here once. Looks like we popped up a little bit above it. You can see last week we predicted down, and we had a little bit of down. I do think this is a pretty good pullback, and now we're going bearish. So we may retest, and then that will tell us down or up. It's kind of a horrible arrow. Okay. All right. AUD JPY. So obvious upward trend. If we zoom out, looks like we just keep creating newer highs. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry. I like this as a bullish target. I'm not necessarily going to be bullish there. And man, we have to kind of look way back in time to try to see. I'm going to call that my bearish. Actually, right there doesn't seem like that bad of an idea. And look, right where we tested, right? So this is former resistance. And I think we're going to maybe test that again, reconfirm it. And then, this would be an inflection point we want to be careful of in that, on that continuation trade. But we could just end up range bound in here. So our better trade is going long off of this confirmation of that resistance, which, depending on how fat you make this zone, we already have. Okay? See that? We've already spiked in there. So you may just end up going long right out of the gate from here. All right, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. So this is a trade we took in in our journeyman signal service. It got into a decent profit, but we never really got there. It actually stopped us out after we got into profit. We moved our stop loss up, and we walked away with minimal returns, which I'm really excited this week because, there's been some confusion in the channel, what type of signals. I've been trading strategies I've been using for years, but I get lots of questions about, well, why'd you take the trade? So I'm clearly defining what strategies I'm using. I'm teaching those strategies in that channel. I know I'm teaching people to not need me, but I want to make a signal service that is better than anyone else's in the fact that we teach people how to trade when they're copying our signals. We teach them the strategies that we're using, and we're trying to be consistent. So I'm excited this week that we have that strategy. If you want to watch it, jump on over to Allen FX Facebook page and watch it. It's a good hour-long swing trading strategy that I've been using for years. I just have adapted it a little bit to where I could put in the signal as far ahead as I can, at least a half hour or 15 minutes ahead before we take the trade. So all my signal service subscribers have time to get the trade in. And then there's an explanation of why we're taking the trade. And right there in the beginning, there might be a lot of action, but once that trade takes off, there's not. So people can really put the trade in and watch these things happen. All right, enough about that. So we're on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. I like, obviously, I got our bearish way up there. And let's see why. I don't know why we have that. This is probably a more appropriate spot to target. And man, we got some deep trenches in this one. And if we look right here, guys, this is probably why I went long. Nothing's working for me today, guys. There we go. So we're testing former resistance right now. And we are getting quite a bit of indecision. There's a lot of bulls and bears fighting right here. Look at those daily candles. I mean, people are wanting to take over here. So this one's going to be red. I want to look at this one out of the gate. Australian dollar, US dollar. I think I like where we have our bullish zone. clean up my charts. All right. I like that. Looks like we got rid of our bearish zone. I'm going to try to just, because that's the most current. There we go. I like that. Those are the two closest inflection points we want to be concerned with. We're actually kind of testing these resistance areas right now, so that's kind of more appropriate. Okay. CAD Swiss franc. Looks like we got some old trade setups on there. We've touched the 200 EMA. We did not break it. I would definitely expect price is probably going to touch it again. As far as I'm not necessarily going to get crazy bullish on this pair. Unless we come down and we test this area. And actually, I want to see right there. Forward resistance, confirmed support. If we come back down there, I want to be it. But, it looks like we're breaking out these highs. So bearish, I'm not going to be bearish till we come up and test that 200 EMA. CAD JPY. I like where we have our zones. Former turnaround spot. We're above the 200 EMA, so it's obvious upward trend. This is what we're going to target for that reversal of that trend. Where I had that make or break when we came on, I'm going to be a little bit bearish or bullish if we retest that area. Because, look, we've already confirmed. We've already confirmed it. We're starting to get big candle, indecision candles. So I really like seeing what happens when we get to that point. It's not a bad trade up to it. However, we already had this really big stretch up there. I think we're starting to see a little bit of support right here at 81,453. So you'd be taking a buy trade at the top or potential top to get really theoretically to get 24 pips. It's just not worth it. I am going to turn this red because I want to see it. Okay, Swiss franc JPY. I get a lot of questions on this pair. Mostly they are people who are stuck in drawdown. And, I have some guys in my channel that are, caught in short trades. I think they all got short right here. Right around 114. Now, they're holding on to these losing trades because they got short right here. And then now they've gone through, look at how many days they've gone through. Oh my God, a week. Oh, it's going back. Oh, wait, no, not. It's going sideways. So, I hate to say it, but because we're finding... I don't know why that... Because we're finding support now. There we go. I'm going to start tightening up my daily charts a little bit. Because I myself, guys, I am dead focused right now on this new day trading strategy that I am trying to develop, practice. Man, it sucks when I do that. I don't know why this makes it so freaking long. There we go. So annoying. There we go. All right. So I'm going to be bullish if we get into this area. However, guys, we're starting to consolidate. So this is going to be more make or break. Yellow, right? I like making my and then I'm going to make another make or break right here. Because I can start to see this consolidation. Now, we can take a buy, sell, because these are daily candles. So, these are perfect sideways setups for 161 pips each way. So, a great place to trade. It's also a great place to wait for a breakout. If we break out of this bottom, your next really solid inflection point is 113. So then all these guys get out of those trades that they've been holding on for weeks. And, it's been a long, hard ride. But I'm going to go ahead and say I want to look at here as a bullish spot, which is close enough for these guys to get out. And then as far as bearish, this one right here is bearish for me. Now, it doesn't mean it can't break out to the upside and go to the moon. This thing has obviously been on a wicked, wicked run. All right? All right. Jeez, I always mess up. All right. Euro AUD. So we've been playing off these two zones for quite some time, and it's working pretty well. So here we had a rejection. This one was pretty easy because you had this pin bar, bullish pin bar type daily candle, and whammo, it came all the way up where we wanted it to. Then we had a really good sideways rejection. Now we have pin bars. We've broken both of those. We're kind of retesting. One would think we're going to go back at least to that 200 EMA, which is not a bad trade, right? 247 pips. May happen this week. But you can see right here, guys, when we got up there, we went sideways for a while. We kind of double topped. So don't be real surprised if this comes back and double bottoms before we go. I'm going to turn this one red because we want to see it out of the gate. And EUR-CHF, again, pretty good range bound here. You can see last Sunday we predicted an upward. We got it. Now, I would say we may test this top again, or we could just go crazy bearish down to that bullish zone. Euro GBP, I love when we see on a daily chart, we touch the 200 EMA. Because something big's going to happen here. A lot of institutions, a lot of traders are looking at this right here. And here's why. Because look at every time we've crossed the 200 EMA, there's a little bit of freaking out, right? Right? Like right here, it crossed with some authority, but it came back and knocked everyone out that was being too aggressive with stops. And then went on a pretty long bullish run. And then we crossed, and a bunch of people probably got short right here. And then we tested it to knock out aggressive stops. And then we, excuse me, then we faked everyone out, came back up. But then we eventually stay below it for a long time. Let's just measure that out. So if you stuck to your strategy, which is cross, some sort of stop loss, you probably would have stopped out. No big deal because you just made this big win. And then you got back short again, right? Let's say you got short you wait for this whole candle, and then you enter. At one point, 557 pips. Pretty good. Pretty good. Then if you get long when it crosses, or you wait for the retest, which it always retests, you had another good long trade. I love messing around like this. At the peak, 800 pips. So it's not a bad trading system. However, you don't get these opportunities very often. So we haven't crossed yet, but we should be well aware this week. Are we going to bust through this with some authority? Then you wait for some sort of retest and you get in. All right, Euro JPY. In a pretty good range bound, but we've double topped, right? So I would expect this to come to there. And then if we break through that, we may be getting, continuation to our next inflection point, the 200 EMA. If we break that, guys, we're coming down to this area. And then if our next level's here, but this is like pre-COVID. This is the COVID, no, pre-COVID's over here. So we've gone above pre-COVID levels. The JPY is just getting crushed, right? Because they're in a recession. They don't like using interest rates. So we're testing the 200 EMA on Euro NZD. I love that. These are great times because, like I said, when we dipped below it for a little bit, and when we crossed it back up, man, what a run. We went below it, we've ranged below it, we crossed back up, now we're retesting. So one could make the argument that this is the retest after this move, which would tell you zzz, to the moon. Euro USD. Let's get that mess out of there. So we are starting to range in a slight upward channel, right? I think I'm going to be bullish until we break that. And as far as bearish, I'm just going to put it right on the top there. There we go. We may bound in that range, just not enough to tell us yet. But those are the key levels I'm going to play with this week. Euro Canadian dollar. We found a little bit of a support right there. Based off this former range, and I think we're still seeing it, right? Let's just put a make or break. We're kind of right in the middle of that range. So it's still any man's game, right? We got to break through this, or we're going to have a really good bounce above that level for us to get crazy off this daily analysis. So we broke the 200 EMA. We're creeping back towards it because we're going sideways here. So I like where we have our zones. This one's pretty high up there. I think I'm going to move that to there. And that's not based on anything other than those two double tops right there. Doo-doo. So, I'm going to play in this range. GBP, Canadian dollar. We had a perfect bullish flag pattern. Now, what I would tell you guys is we've broken through and now we're retesting this channel, right? So, not a bad time to look at a buy trade up to that top part, up to this bearish zone. GBP CHF, we're testing the 200 EMA right near support. Okay. So we may go sideways a little bit off of this, and to play this one real safe, you can wait for that break of a trend line, or a test of it. So a test of it, easy buy trade. A break of it, not the best, but that's your first inflection point off that. GBP, JPY. Some people's favorite pair to trade. Scalpers. We've easily gone past 200 EMA. I think we're going to come somewhere to test this range. We are testing the bottom of this pre-COVID range right now. I just don't see the JPY getting massively strong out of nowhere. So I think we're probably going to go to the top of this range. Then we're going to see what happens. GBP USD, we are at the top of that range. Now, the US dollar has just been getting crushed. So I have a really hard time betting against the dollar for too long. But that's how people get in trouble, right? Is, we take what we've known historically, which we've relied on is our knowledge and experience, which is fine. But in trading here, things change. They change quicker than we expect. And, fundamentally, the Feds just keep printing dollars, and we're in an election year. Maybe the dollar's not going to rebound till after election. Or if it may not rebound at all if we keep printing fake money. So, betting the house on the dollar when it gets as cheap anymore is just not a smart play. GBP NZD, we're finding a little bit of support in our bullish area, but it's struggling, right? It's hugging that 200 EMA. It was holding above it. Now we're holding a little below it. I think I'm going to move this down here. So now I wouldn't be that bullish unless we dip down to here and I show rejection. However, we are getting below the 200 EMA, so we should be thinking sell. And then our next good area is down here. NZD CAD. Okay. I can't really call this a break of the 200 period average. And then all the bulls kicked into gear again. But I think we might be seeing the start of a new downward trend, right? We went on this long upward trend. We went consolidated. Now we went down, lower high. This would be a lower high. And we've all seen this pattern before, right? So we may see something like this, right? So it's not a bad sell trade because we broke that bottom down to this, at least this green zone. But if we break through that, we should get a lower high again and then a lower low if history repeats itself. All right, NZD CHF. Kind of have a pretty good zone right here. Again, I could start to see the beginning of a downward trend. This way, right? Might be a little gradual, but we're at that inflection point right there. NZD JPY. Again, the JPY has gotten really weak through this, and now we're kind of range bound, and we're at the top of that range. So I want to go red. NZD USD. Okay. We are at pre-COVID high right now. So, again, is the dollar just going to continue to get demolished by everything, or are we going to see these countries step in and start devaluing their currency so the Americans don't run away with, uh, crushing everyone and getting their currency cheap, which, if you think about it, if you devalue your currency, your debt goes down, or your debt is less impactful to other countries. All right. We are at a very, very strong support here. And again, this is where you got to go, okay, July, last summer, October, we double bottomed for summer to fall. Now this summer, fall. Okay. Will we see that run out of fall like we have? Will history repeat itself here? Now, this is obviously the COVID freak out. So will we get all the way back up here? Or is it logical last year's range will be the range we go in? Right? That's a more logical way of thinking. Here's last summer to fall. Here's this range. Or will we break down and come all the way down to these levels, November 17-ish. I'm guessing this is, that's 2016. There's May 2016, so spring. And we had an upward trend that spring to fall. But we've been pretty low here, guys. We've been all, 2006. Yeah, 2006 to 2015. Where's 2008 on here? That's not 2006. That's 2011. There's 08. Pretty wacky pair we got here. Pretty wacky. But what we can say is we're testing a very important level. We're either going to go long with some authority or we're going to bust through this level. We got some downside, big downside potential. USD CHF, kind of the same thing, guys. Kind of the same thing. We're at a low all the way back to 2015. Here's a 2000, that 2015 crazy when they quit pegging the Swiss franc. And here's probably 2011 we got crazy spike down all the way down to 0.70. So again, guys, we've broken this 2018 bottom and we're kind of sitting where we are on a bottom of 2015. So if we snap below this, we got a lot of downside potential. But it looks like we've kind of moved, consolidated quite well. But this would be an area I'd want to be bullish. And, if I were to just kind of draw a box around this, if you want to be really safe, you just want to, you're not going to trade this pair unless you break out of this box either way. If we break to the upside, I like that area as your target. If we break to the bottom side, there's no boundaries. USD JPY, pretty crazy price action on this one. We are testing this low, right? So naturally we'd want to be bear or bullish here. I don't know why I just did that. But we're getting lower and lower highs off of this. So there's a lot of tension building up. The bulls just can't seem to win. So, I'm going to be bearish right here. And we're kind of getting a lot of tension built up in this pair. Here was a little freak out, right? That was COVID freak out. And then, the bulls kind of get a little bit of a run and then just get their butt kicked. So you can see we're getting smaller and smaller range, and something big's going to happen. We're either going to shoot down past, and then we got a lot of downside potential, or we're going to break up with some authority, and this thing could run all the way back up to the 111s. Again, the U.S. dollar is not recovering like it normally does. And we're in a very volatile election year. So probably not the best time to just be betting on the dollar, right? Okay, guys. Well, that sums up this week's Sunday setups. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you want to come back. Like I said, guys, this is just a really high-level view of these higher time frames, support and resistance, real basic stuff. However, when we're down in those smaller time frames, watch the price, and we end up in one of these shaded areas, it brings us back to reality. Like, oh my God, why am I in a bullish zone when I just been thinking bearish this whole time? It makes us go, whoa, maybe I need to recalibrate my direction on these smaller time frame trades because I'm at the top of a range on a daily. All right, guys, don't forget to hit like and follow and subscribe and all those great things if you want to support the channel. I am going to be doing a little bit of rebranding and some more content making here very soon. If you're interested in taking personal one-on-one courses, coaching with me, hit me up or visit allenfx.com, set up a one-on-one consultation with me, and we will see if the services I provide are right for you. All right, guys, have a great week. Don't forget, tomorrow's a holiday here in the U.S. Markets will be a little bit slow. And then, let's go make some money together. Over now.